What's up, y'all? This is Hammer here again, back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about essentially Hispanic, Latinos, and the sort of anti-Black racism that exists within the Latino and Hispanic community. Now, here's the thing, okay? Many of you guys watching this video may be kind of shocked and surprised because when we think of Hispanics in America, when we think of Latinos, the image that typically comes to our minds is, poor migrants from South America, right? Who work in construction, who work in blue collar jobs. So many of us were like, wait a minute, Hammer, how can people who come from third world countries, who essentially, are lower income migrants, how could these people potentially be anti-Black? Well, the answer is very simple. What people need to understand is this. Although Hispanics and Latinos tend to be economic migrants here to the United States, in South American countries, there is a racial hierarchy. And the racial hierarchy is as such, right? At the top, you have white Hispanics. Then under white Hispanics, you have mestizos. And then under mestizos, you have the indigenous population and Black Hispanics, right? That's how the hierarchy goes. And so, although the mestizo population, and for those who don't know, right, when I say mestizo essentially means those who are mixed with European and indigenous ancestry. So that's what I'm talking about. But so anyways, right? So mestizos, although they make up the majority of the population in South America, they essentially play a subordinate role to white Hispanics. So in other words, even though white Hispanics are the minority across South America, they tend to have all the political and economic power in South America. When you look at most of these South American countries, look at the presidents. Most of them are either white or white passing, right? They essentially all will be classified as quote unquote white Hispanics or white Peninsulares. And what's most important is that even though they're the minority, they essentially have all the economic and political power. And the mestizo population, even though they make up the majority of the population, tend to play a subservient role to the white Hispanics. But even though the mestizos play a subservient role to the white Hispanics, they tend to look down upon on the indigenous and Black populations in South America. And so when a lot of these Hispanics are coming to the United States, keep in mind that many of them, right, identify as white. You'll have mestizos who are brown skinned, but when they come to America, they will classify themselves as white because in South America, there is this idea called bettering the race, right? The idea that, hey, the goal is to progress towards whiteness. The goal is to become a white Peninsulares. The goal is to become a white Hispanic. And when you intermingle with someone of darker skin, whether they be indigenous or Black, you're going backwards. So a lot of these mestizos, even though they would not be classified as white in their own countries, right? When they come to America, they always try to quote unquote achieve whiteness. Okay, as a mestizo, I may not have blonde hair and blue eyes, but I'm definitely whiter than these Black Americans. So they're always trying to be accepted in the white classification. And so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna play this video, and I'm gonna talk about how Hispanics in America have been increasingly more and more siding themselves with quote unquote the white American population. Before we get into that, let's get into our intro. Once you understand the racial hierarchy that exists in South America, once you understand how in these Spanish countries, these Latino, Hispanic, communities, the goal is to always progress towards whiteness, then you'll understand what you're about to hear. Let's get into it.
So recently, there's been reporting about how we're seeing Hispanic, Latino individuals gravitate towards some of these white supremacy groups and these other groups that express bigotry. Why are we seeing this?
Yes, we are beginning to see a wave of Latino and other people of color who are attracted.
And by the way, I'm happy you said people of color. That's another reason why Black folks need to reject this people of color thing, right? because originally it was centered around Black people in the Black diaspora, but now they've expanded to people of color. And people of color just means anyone who's non-white, right? And the problem with that is that a lot of these non-white groups tend to align themselves more white Europeans. A lot of these non-white groups, right, genetically are more Caucasian. Let's keep it real. So really, when he says people of color, he's talking about anti-Black folks who are not classified as white, but who would love to be classified as white.
To white nationalism. This is happening for several reasons. The first is that white nationalism grows more mainstream. The more that the federal government and state government refuse to address the underlying conditions upon which white nationalists are exploiting, right? The fear of demographic change, economic pressure, the more the white nationalist movement continues to advance its power. That makes it attractive to folks who are concerned about change in our society right now. The second is that there is an intentional recruitment of people of color by white nationalist leadership into its alt-right coalition in order to defend itself from the very real charges of racism and political violence that revolves around the white nationalist movement. The third is simply this, that many Latinos in the United States identify as white.
Yes, and I'm happy the brother pointed this out, okay? That's another thing people don't understand, okay? In the United States, people love telling us about this Black and brown coalition. That does not exist. There is no such thing as a Black and brown coalition, okay? When these Hispanics come over here, many of them identify as white. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because look, they would literally allow thousands of quote-unquote mestizos to cross the border, but as soon as you had Haitian migrants, they were deported immediately. Did any of you guys notice how quickly the United States deported thousands and thousands of Haitian migrants? So when they came to the Haitian migrants, they had no problem deporting them quickly as possible, right? Because they're Black. But when they came to the mestizos, they were putting them on planes and flying them all across America, flying them to New York, flying them everywhere. And I believe the reason is this, okay? Most white Americans, right? They call it white power, right? They understand that although mestizos and Hispanics may not have these sort of, traditional Caucasian look, blonde hair, blue eyes, many of them tend to lean more toward the quote unquote European heritage. They tend to want to, quote unquote, try to achieve whiteness. And so the game plan is, okay, the demographics of white folks are quote unquote dropping in America, right? We don't want these Haitians over here because they're 100% Black, right? But these Hispanics and Latinos, although they may not be fully white, however, they do aspire to be white. So if we bring them here, right, we can essentially, as time goes on, right, slowly assimilate them into the quote-unquote white demographic. Let's keep it real. Many of these Hispanics look very similar to Italians. Many of these Hispanics look very similar to Southern Europeans, right, with a brown skin. So, because people need to understand, okay, when Italians first came here, when Greeks first came here, even when the Irish first came here, when the Jews first came here, they were not considered white. It was only after a while of them being slowly, cleaned up and slowly being assimilated into the white classification that they were classified as white. And I believe that they're going to pull the same thing when it comes to Hispanics. So when folks talk about how, white people are going to the minority, I say, that's an overstatement. Because yes, will you have a dominant Hispanic majority? Yeah. But here's the problem. If most Hispanics identify as white, or if most Hispanics tend to lean towards the quote-unquote Caucasian European side, are white people really a minority? No. Because even if quote unquote on the table, right? Even if they're the minority, through sheer numbers, as long as they can essentially get the Hispanic population to side with them, they can essentially have a majority coalition to still run the country. So we have to be honest here.
Not with their indigenous or Afro roots. And many of them, because of their conservative politics, believe that the white nationalist movement aligns with their values. It's not the case. And it means at the end of the day, civil society and the civil rights community within the Latino community need to do a better job of educating Latinos about the dangers of white nationalists. Let us not forget.
And that's the problem, okay? Because a lot of folks really want to believe that it's just no, it's not. It's not an anomaly. That is, look, he said it perfectly. They do not identify with their indigenous or African roots. No, they identify with the Caucasian roots. So even though mestizos, which make up the majority of the white Hispanics, even though most of them are mixed, right? They're white aspiring. They aspire to be white, and white Americans know this. So in other words, okay, we will import you guys, here in America. You guys may not be ready yet, but as long as you demonstrate to us that you guys want to achieve whiteness, we'll work with you, right? We'll slowly, assimilate you, just like how we did with the Italians. So at the end of the day, we gotta start being honest here, okay? Hispanics are racist and Hispanics are black. And the crazy part is, when you had the sort of recent scandal in California when Nuri Martinez and quote unquote Kevin De Leon were caught on tape saying all kinds of derogatory things about black folks, everyone was shocked. Why are you shocked? Yeah, Nuri Martinez and Kevin De Leon look very brown skinned, but here's the problem. They are white aspiring. They're trying to achieve whiteness. And in my opinion, that scandal actually helped Hispanics. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it demonstrated to the white majority that, okay, these people are with us. So really, you're probably that the situation with quote unquote Nuri Martinez may have alienated, black folks, indigenous folks, but it actually may have helped them in regards to white America, because white Americans are going to view that as a good thing. Oh, these people are really with us. But with that being said, black folks, we gotta be honest here. Latinos are not your friends. Stop advocating for them. We need to be fighting against illegal immigration, because they've made it very clear when they come over here, the first thing they want to do is be white. With that being said, y'all, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think of the video. Share, subscribe, like the video, and with that being said, hammer out.